setting up your meeting on YouTube live.
Yes. Setting up one event. तिथं नाव काय देतात वरती काय करतात तुमचं तात्पुरतं नाव दे. तुमच्या सेशनचं नाव द्या.
थांबा कुठं दिसत नाहीये मला तसलं काय.
ठीक आहे मी करतो थांबा तोपर्यंत ते. तुम्ही डायरेक्ट चालू करा शिकवायला. आणि म्यूट असेल तर बघा म्यूट एक चेक करा जरा तो. रेडी तुम्हाला आता याला दिसेल सेशन.
Hello everyone, welcome to Shikuya Let's Upskill. Am I audible to you all? Your quick response will help me to understand. Am I audible to you all, audience, viewers? Yes, everybody. Am I audible enough? Yes, good evening, Ajay. Good evening. Well, let us have an interesting session today. This is called reading comprehension. All right, when it comes to reading comprehension, this is the most favorite question of the recruiters, or if you go for any recruitment test, or if you go for any competitive test. Okay, this is the most favorite question of theirs. All right, because this consists of it includes all the basics of your English. It literally helps them to understand how well versed you are with language English. All right. Okay, Omkar, thank you. Well, so let us begin with our first question of reading and comprehension. All right. Now, what you have to do, you have to read thoroughly the given passage. Okay, our first passage is a bit lengthy. You have to read it. Once you finish your first paragraph, you will type 1 in the chat box. All right, you have to read the paragraph. You have to type 1 in the chat box. I'll display another paragraph because this is a bit lengthy. The screen we are using is a bit little smaller for this paragraph. All right, so this is the first RC question in front of you. This is RC passage in front of you. Okay, once you finish reading this passage, you will type 1 in the chat box. Omkar, keep on replying. All the viewers, if you reply, I'll be able to go ahead. So keep on replying. Once you finish reading this given passage, you're supposed to type 1. Once you finish reading second passage, you're supposed to type 2. So keep reading. We'll just wait for everyone to read this given passage. Yes, Omkar, Ajay, Rituja, keep solving, keep reading. Once you finish reading this passage, type 1. Done? Are you done with the reading? First passage, the given passage on your screen. Your reply will help me to go ahead. I request all the viewers to keep on replying. All right, come on. Well, let us move to the next passage. This is your next passage. Once you finish reading this passage, there are two passages here. Once you finish reading this, you can type 2. Very nice, Ajay. Good one. Good going. Omkar, very nice. Come on, read another one. Sohail, welcome to the session. Come on, read thoroughly. While reading, you have to be really focused. Okay, are you done? Come on, read your passage thoroughly. Once you're finished, you can type 2. Type 2 for this second page. Omkar, Sohail, Ajay, keep replying. It's very essential to read the given passage. So what do we do? Come on, this is the third page of the passage. This is indeed laudable. Poland too has now joined this list. Come on, be quick, everybody. Very nice. You're going well. Come on, I can see few viewers have just joined. Please read the given passage. This is RC. reading comprehension session. We are trying to solve the reading comprehension. All right, so this is the passage we have displayed. You have to quickly read it and type type 3. This is the third page of the first RC question. All right, once you're finished this, we'll talk about what approach, what strategy you need to use. So please type 3 once you finish reading this third page. Okay. Well, can you share what did you realize while reading this passage? Yes, Omkar, Sohail, I'm waiting for your reply, guys. Yes, I understand this is lengthy passage. इतना read कैसे करेंगे? इतना read करने का time होता है. Like n number of questions might be going in your mind, right? Okay, Omkar says it's water pollution. Great, Omkar, very nice. I hope you have read the passage thoroughly. Omkar, what do you say? Will it be like affordable for us to spend so much of time while reading this passage? What if the passage is so lengthy? What will you do? Do you have any idea? Do you have any strategy how we can approach or how we can solve this passage? Okay, Ajay says yes. All right. So, Hale, what do you say? So there, of course, we need to use some strategy, right? What strategy? So whenever it comes to RC, whenever you come across such a lengthy passage, the first thing is you have to read it in a skimming method. You have to skimming technique you have to use. So there are some techniques of reading, you have to master that. All right, so keep yourself in practice of reading. Now, how to read means like how to do skimming. Okay, Mansi says it's 2. All right, Mansi, keep it up. So what kind of technique we can use? You have to do skimming. Now, what is skimming? As you read your newspaper, we don't read entire newspaper, no, from first page to last page. What we do? We just go through the headlines. Then if we find it interesting, we just jump into it and we start reading. That too, we don't read the entire content. We just read roughly, right? That is what you are supposed to do when it comes to RC. The very first thing is you're supposed to skim the passage. Now, what is skimming? Now, this was your first passage, right? Now you have to skim it. You have to read first paragraph. You have to read the second paragraph here. Somewhat this line, you have to read it. All right. So this is how you have to read this. Then you can come to some 3-4 line. At the time, you have to read few things, but you have to read the entire passage. So the first method we are going to use is skimming. Once you are done with skimming, now you have a rough idea, right? What the passage is about. You don't know the entire passage. You didn't understood 100%, but you have a rough idea. As Omkar said, it's about this water pollution, right? Now, somewhat you will get this idea, right? It's about water pollution. What are the effects of which are the different rivers which have been like affected badly because of pollution and so on, like different NERI, according to NERI, what it is, and like different concepts they have explained under this water pollution passage, right? It could be like a lot of information they have given in the, just a minute, we'll clear the screen. Okay, so they have given this first question. Now what you have to do, once you are done with skimming, now you're quickly going to jump to the given questions. Okay, read the questions thoroughly. quickly go through all the questions. Now, while solving or while going through all the questions, you will find few questions which are kind of synonyms, antonyms, fill in the blanks type of questions. There may be. All right, we cannot assure that you will have such variety, but there could be such questions in this passage, under this passage. All right, there could be a high chances like without reading a passage, you'll be able to solve few questions like fill in the blanks, which is completely grammar based or somewhat that kind of questions. All right, so that will save your time after reading, spending so much time in understanding the passage. And then when you land up to the questions, you will understand, this was really easy. I could have solved it without reading as well. Okay, so there are few chances that you may find such questions under this. All right, now let us try to solve our first question. Okay, now while looking at this question, now what will I do? I'll just keep question in my mind, like the degradation of natural resources will necessarily lead to, or lead us to. All right, so now you have to quickly remember where you have seen this degradation of natural resource, these kind of word in which passage. So quickly you will be able to go to that particular passage. Now this method is called scanning. You have to go through the questions. Once you go through the questions, you have to keep the question hints in your mind, and then you have to land up again to the given paragraph. So now what you have certain idea in your mind, and now you're going to search the answer for that question. Understood? Now our first question is the degradation of natural resources will necessarily lead to. Okay, now second question is according to Neary. So now we have these questions in our mind, right? Neary, we have read in the first passage, the degradation of natural resource will necessarily lead to. Now these things I will keep in my mind. Now I'll again move to the given passage. So this is the best strategy. You should not spend 10 minutes, 8 minutes reading the passage only. You have to you have to be really habitual of reading in this way. So you have to keep up yourself, or you have to put yourself into reading practice. All right, now let us quickly solve the first passage, first question, that is the degradation. Okay, the degradation of natural resources will necessarily lead to. So poor economic utilization of resources, contamination of water from municipal sewage, water unfit for human consumption, none of above. Now degradation of natural resource, where did you find this word in the entire passage? Degradation. Yes, if you see our first passage, this one, okay, when you see our first passage, you will immediately find this thing here. Okay, in the first passage, this line, can you see this? Can you see this? Yes, resource degradation which greatly hampers the optimal utilization. Now let us go to our question quickly. Let us go to the question. Okay, the degradation of natural resources will necessarily lead to poor economic utilization of resources. This is what our first passage says. So while reading, you have to read all the highlighted words like degradation. First passage talks about degradation of natural resources. So when I skim my passage, okay, now paragraph to paragraph, I make a note. All right, suppose this is the first passage, right? This is our first passage. Now what do I do here? While reading this first passage, I'll keep a note in my mind. Okay, now the first passage is about environmental protection. It talks about some resource degradation which greatly hampers their optimal utilization. Now what about the second passage? It talks about different municipal sewage and which all different pollutions and different acts and what according to Neary it is said. So this is all about second passage. All right, so whenever I'll go to such questions, now quickly I can understand where this answer will be, where the question's answer will be, in which passage. Understood? So while reading for the first time, when you will be using your skimming method, you will make a note of each passage, each paragraph. All right, so that when you will be reading or when you will be trying to solve the question, you will be quickly able to select your answer. All right. So our first answer, the degradation of natural resource will necessarily lead to, it will be this, poor economic utilization of resources. All right. Let us go to the next question. According to NIRI, now what according to NIRI happens? The extent of water pollution in Dal Lake is growing. 70% of the total water available in the country is polluted. Only 217 out of 3119 towns and cities have sewage treatment facilities. All the 14 major rivers of India are highly polluted. What according to NIRI it says. So now look at the first passage. Here we have seen about the NIRI. Here you can see, right? According to the National Environment Engineering and Research Institute, that means NIRI, a staggering 70% of water available in the country is polluted. That is what NIRI says. Do you get it? If you read it in this manner, now you know the question. Now quickly we can land up to this first paragraph, page, second paragraph. We can quickly understand what NIRI wants to say. Got it? You have to be this quick. It's okay if you don't understand few things here and there in the passage. That doesn't matter. Okay, you have to not lose the hopes of solving the passage. If you don't understand certain things, that is really like quite okay. Got it? Very nice. Nagma, Aishwarya, Mansi, going good. Very nice. Okay. What do you say? Okay, that is how the second question answers. All right, 70% of total water available in the country is polluted. See, keep just one thing in your mind. When you're solving these kind of questions, you have to not use your own experience, your own knowledge. You have to strictly stick to the passage. What really the author or historians or whoever written this passage, what he really wants to say out of this passage. All right, you have to not apply your thoughts. You have to just understand what the passage is about, what the passage is trying to tell us. Understood? You might be really, really pro in such kind of topics. Maybe you're really good at history. Maybe you're really good at geography. That doesn't matter. Nobody wants to know how good you are in history, geography, and other different topics. They are purely interested in knowing how well you can understand the given passage, how you can deal with language English. All right. Come on, a quick one in the chat box will help me to understand that you people are with me. You're listening to what I'm saying. Come on, a quick one in the chat box. Everybody. Well, let us go to the next question. Which of the following statements is correct? Okay, these are the given statements. Which is correct in this? The river Periyar is in the South India. Very nice. Red Crow, Omkar, great. Aishwarya, very good. Thank you so much. Okay, now keep up with this. We are going to really understand all the strategies how to solve RC. Which of the following statements is correct? River Periyar is in South India. River Periyar is the largest river of Kerala. The river Gomti is also extremely polluted. All of the above are correct. Okay. Now, where did we read these words? Periyar, Gomti, Kerala, South India. Where did we see these words? In the paragraph 2 on the second page. Right? Can you see this highlighted word in the passage? The Periyar is the largest river of Kerala. Okay, that is also we have in the given options. Okay, Chaliyar is in Kerala, Gomti in UP, then Narmada in MP, and the Sone and the Subarnarekha rivers in Bihar is no different. Means these all are polluted. That is what it meant to be said. Okay, if you read your paragraph really well. See, now we have a hint. We are talking about Gomti, we are talking about Periyar. Now we have to quickly jump to that passage. That is what we have done. We have quickly came to that passage and now we are reading that part really focused. Okay. Yes, Red Crow, your answer is correct. All of above options are correct answers. All right. So you have to quickly read this passage so that you will find your answer really fast. All right. From here till here. That is the way. This will save your time. You have to do skimming. Then you have to go to the questions. You have to quickly go through all the questions. All right. Then you have to come back to the paragraph while keeping some thoughts in your mind or keeping some ideas, hints of the different questions. And now you have to try to solve quickly. Doesn't it easy? You simply get panic by looking at the length of the passage. So don't get panic. This is very, just you need the practice and your approach should be correctly, you have to maintain your approach. So that if you are good at this, if you practice this thoroughly, you will be able to solve these kind of passages really well. All right. So what's our answer? Let us quickly see. Okay, all of the above are correct. As we have seen in the passage, all these statements are correct, as our passage says, right? So Red Crow, your answer is correct. Very good. Come on, everybody. What is your answer? Everybody have to reply. Mansi, Nagma, Aishwarya, Omkar. Where are you all? Archana. Just stay with me so that you will be quickly having an idea whatever I'm talking about. Okay, well, let us go to the next question. Municipal sewage pollutants account for. What do they account for? The lowest percentage of water pollution, 75% of the Ganga's water pollution load, twice the volume of the wastewater of industrial origin, 3 times as much as the discharge from agricultural field. Very nice, everyone. Keep replying. That's great. Okay. Where did we see this word municipal sewage? In the paragraph 1. This paragraph, right? Where did we find this municipal sewage? Let us quickly understand. Here we have seen, right? Then we can see the word here, municipal sewage. The pollution of the much revered Ganga is due in particular to municipal sewage that accounts for 3/4 of its pollution load. Do we have any such option here? Yes, 3/4 is 75% of Ganga's water pollution. That is what it meant to say. Much revered Ganga is due in particular to municipal sewage. Okay, are you getting it? Here, if you see this one, okay, if you see this, when the wastewaters emanating from municipal sewage, the industrial effluents, agriculture, and land runoff find their way either to groundwater reservoirs or other surface water sources, the quality of water deteriorates. This is nothing to do with our question, right? They are purely talking about what? Look at this. Municipal sewage pollutants accounts for what? 75% of Ganga's water pollution load. All right, that is what it says in the passage. 3/4 of its pollution load. Are you getting it? What would you like to go with? Yes, of course it is B. Very nice, Aishwarya, Nagma, going great. 75% of Ganga's water pollution load. Got it? So this is your B answer. See, look at this now. Like there are so many numbers, different names in the passage. Do we have to remember all of that to solve these questions? Not at all. So don't get panicked while you're solving these lengthy paragraphs. You don't have to remember the entire paragraph. You have to just go with the questions. All right. So let us have the next question. Which of the following statements has been made by the WHO? So where do we find this WHO word in the passage? Here, right? In the second page of the passage of the given question. Here it is. Look at this. According to WHO, now we have read roughly, we have read the passage. So we have read WHO somewhere here. right? What it say? 80% of diseases prevalent in India are waterborne. Many of them assume epidemic proportion. The prevalence of these diseases heightened under conditions of drought. It is also estimated that India loses as many as 73 million man days every year due to water-prone diseases, costing rupees 600 crores by way of treatment expenditure and production losses. What? Did you get this? Now let us quickly see what our questions asked for. Which of the following statements have been or has been made by WHO? So these are all statements we have just read, right? Now let us quickly see what all options we have. Waterborne diseases account for 80% of all diseases prevalent in India. That is what the first line of the passage says, right? This 80%. Can you see here? 80%, right? That is what we have here. Waterborne diseases account for 80%. So A is there. Waterborne diseases in India create a loss of rupees 600 crores every year. Is that been said? Yes, of course. See the last highlighted line, costing rupees 600 crores by way of treatment expenditure and production losses. So what do we have? So both A and B is present in the statements in the paragraph. That is what WHO says. So what would be your answer? It would be definitely C. Understood? Both the two options. Got it? Even this and this. All right. So C is your answer. See, it's so easy. There are so many things been given in the passage, but what they are asking in the question. So don't get panic looking at the passage. Now try this. The crisis of drinking water is caused chiefly by. Where did you find the crisis of drinking water? In the last passage, in the last page. Yes, here. The reason for crisis. So you have to read really well. While reading only, you have to understand what this entire passage is talking about, what this entire passage is talking about, what about this last passage, what is the main purpose of this passage. So likewise, when you're skimming your passage, you have to make note of it. So now here we are talking about crisis of drinking water. All right. Now what it say? The reason for crisis of drinking water resources are drying up and the lowering of groundwater through over pumping. Over pumping is done. This is compounded by the pollution of water resources. Now what they say? Drying up and lowering of ground through over pumping. Do we have any such options? Let us quickly say the greenhouse effect, water pollution caused by industrial development, drying up of water sources and over pumping, increasing urbanization. Come on, quickly, I'm waiting for your answers. Come on, everybody. Aishwarya, Red Crow, very good. Good going. Come on, I expect you people should be a little quicker. Little quicker. Yes. So correct, your answer would be C. Drying up of water sources and over pumping. Got it? This is how our first passage we have solved here. Okay. Now let us quickly move to the second passage. Shall we go? A quick one in the chat box will help me to understand. A quick one in the chat box. Come on. So this would be your second RC paragraph. We are going to solve it. You're going to apply all the rules I have mentioned in the first passage while solving the first question. You have to quickly skim the passage. You have to go through the questions and then you have to quickly start solving. Red Crow, thank you. Aishwarya, thank you. Very good. Chalo, I hope you all are ready. Nagma, very nice. Once you finish skimming this, once you finish skimming this, type done in the chat box. Type done in the chat box. Come on. This is the first passage on your, this is the first paragraph, this is the first page of RC2. That is reading comprehension. Second question. Read the passage and answer the questions that follow. Come on, be quick. Once you're done this page, type done. Type done in the chat box. Come on, very simple, very interesting passage. Quickly type done if you're finished skimming. You have to just skim. You have to just make a note of what each this small passage talking what it talks about. Look at this. What this passage says. What this passage says. What this passage says. You have to make note. You have to make note at your end. All these three passages. Yes, quickly let me know. If you're done, type done in the chat box. Skim. Don't keep on reading entire thing. While scanning, while solving, we are going to read it entirely. We are going to read it intensively rather. Okay, Red Crow says done. Omkar done. Very good. What about Mansi, Aishwarya? What you both are up to? Okay. Read this. Read this. Come on. The second page. Make a note of both the passages. What this passage talks about. Very nice. Come on. Try the next passage. Yes. What this entire passage talks about. Can anybody tell me what the passage, what the RC is all about? What this given passage is all about, Omkar? Retro, Nagma, Mansi. What this entire passage is about? Where is Sohail? Come on, you have to be really quick. About suicide. Okay. Okay. There is a sociologist, right? Suicide is more in some cases than compared to others. Okay, Retro, about research on suicide. All right. Yes. There is a sociologist and she's just trying to share all different kind of behavioral, okay, how the individual behave, okay, that kind of investigation is done, and what kind of behavior and what kind of people does on what occasion they, what not occasion, on what kind of behavior they commit the suicide, and that kind of behaviors have been mentioned here. All right, the entire passage. This is what we understand after we read this passage. Okay, now come on. This is your first question. Single adults not heavily involved with family life are more likely to commit suicide. Durkheim categorized this as. Okay, they have asked you the type. If this is the case, which type of suicide is this? Anomic suicide, altruistic suicide, egoistic suicide, both altruistic and egoistic suicide. What do you say? Come on, this one is simple one. I think you can quickly guess if you have read the second passage. Can you see this? Can you see this? On the first page, second passage talks about different types of suicide. Yes, the passage is not entirely about only about types of suicide. It is about the behavior of an individual in different manners, in different ways. Is it altruistic? No. Is it altruistic? Egoistic suicide is promoted. Look at this. I have highlighted this. Can you see? Describe three types of suicide: egoistic, anomic, and altruistic. Now, egoistic suicide is promoted when individuals do not have a sufficient social ties. All right. Since single means never married adults, for example, are not heavily involved with the family life, they are more likely to commit suicide than are married adults. Now, what was our question? Single adults not heavily involved with family life are more likely to commit suicide, and which type of suicide? Under which type it is characterized or categorized? Sorry. It is C, egoistic. Very nice. It is egoistic. What is altruistic suicide? We'll get the question further. Don't worry. Okay. So our answer is egoistic. C is your answer. All right. See how simple question is. You have to just understand the given passage. These are very obvious answers. There are different kind of inferred answers or inferred type of questions are also asked. Okay, now look at this. Increase in the suicide rate during economic depression is an example of what? Economic depression. The people who does or who commit suicide because of economic depression, what type of suicide would be there? Come on, a quick answer is expected, every one of you. Okay, this is the passage all about. Look at this. First page, third paragraph. The King's third type of suicide, anomic suicide, increase when the social regulation of individuals is disrupted. For example, suicide rate increased during the economic depression. So what's your answer? Very simple, very obvious questions they are asking you here. Anomic suicide. See? Right? Your answer is B. Anuj, it's B. Egoistic is not one. Egoistic, one who is really alone, one who is not socialized, one who is very away from family. That is egoistic. Anomic would be because of economic depression. Okay, Anuj, I guess you understood this. Well, let us try the next question. According to Durkheim, altruistic suicide is more likely among whom? Yes, altruistic suicide, military personnel then among civilians, single people then among married people, divorcees then among married people, people involved in nationwide economic crisis. Yes, altruistic. Who are the people who commit this type of suicide? Yes. Be a little quick, everyone. Here. Do we have here this question? Okay, we can go with the passage, this one. Yes. Suicide rate were higher among single than married people, among military personnel than civilians, among divorced. What do you say? Where will you find this? What would be your answer? Very nice. It is military personnel. Can you see this? Here it is. In this question, in this slide, military personnel trained to lay down their lives for their country provide another illustrations. So they are talking about altruistic suicide. On the other hand, is more likely to occur when social integration is too strong. The ritual suicide of individual widows on their husband funeral pairs is one example. Then military personnel is another example. Okay, so what would be your answer here? Okay, this is the one. Altruistic suicide is more likely among which one? A. Very nice. The people who have said A is the correct answer. Military personnel then among civilians. Got it? Come on. The next question. According to Durkheim, suicide rates within a social entity can be explained in terms of absence of social ties, disruption of social regulation, nature of social integration, all of these. What do you say? Suicide rates within a social entity can be explained in terms of what? Absence of social ties, disruption of social regulation, nature of social integration. Okay, very nice, Nagma. Great. Great, going good. Okay, let us go to the last paragraph so that we will get our answer. Yes, here it is. If you read this thoroughly, what do you talk about? The social entities, right? Now, look at this. Suicide is affected by the degree of integration, regulation within social ties. Okay, since the society can be studied scientifically, sociology, okay, is worthy of recognition in the academic world. That has all been said in this passage. This entire passage you have to read thoroughly. You will be quickly able to answer that it's all of these. Social rates within a social entity can be explained in terms of absence of social ties. That's true. That is what this sociologist is trying to say. Yes, all of these. Disruption of social regulation, that has been said. Nature of social integration, that has been said. So it is all of these. Understood? See, just you have to understand the given passage. Got it? So D would be your answer. Come on, try this. In his study of suicide, Durkheim's main purpose was, now main purpose of this passage, what this entire passage talks about, what is the main theme of the passage? See, when it comes to this kind of question, you have to think beyond the words, all right, which is not directly given, but beyond the words, beyond this, what is mentioned in the passage, you understand something. So main purpose, what is the main idea, what can be inferred from the passages or the given passage. These kind of questions you have to try to understand the passage beyond the words. All right, that's the hint I'm giving. I'm trying to share with you all with this kind of questions. All right, come on. To document that suicide can be explained without reference to individual, that is what this passage main purpose is all about. To provide an explanation of the variation in the rate of suicide across society, not at all. This is what the main purpose of the passage. No. To categorize various types of suicide, is the passage intention is to show variety of suicides? Not at all. To document that social behavior can be explained by social rather than psychological factor. Is that the reason why this passage is all about? or what the socialist is trying to tell us? What would be your answer? Come on. Nagma says it's D. No. Nagma, what is the main purpose? What the paragraph started as? Let us quickly have the first passage. Okay, look at this. What the paragraph is trying to explain. Look at the first introduction paragraph. What they say, see here. In Suicide, 1964, originally published in 1897, Durkheim documented his contention that some aspects of human behavior, even something as allegedly individualistic as suicide, can be explained without reference to individuals. All right, that is what the passage is all intention about. The main purpose of the passage is this. That is why she's trying, or he is trying to share with us about all this variety of suicide case. What the main purpose of the passage is not to share the variety, but it is based on the fact that without individual reference, we can share this, or we can prove, or we can show that these are the variety of behaviors people have. All right. So what is the answer here? Yes. It is all about A. To document that suicide can be explained without reference to the individual. It is not B. To document that social behavior can be explained by social rather than a psychological factor. That is not the main purpose of the passage. The main purpose of the passage is to understand without giving any individual reference. Okay, with a variety of behavior, by considering variety of behavior, it is trying to explain here. He's trying to explain. All right. So A would be your right choice. Clear, everybody? Come on. Now let us try quickly. This is very small passage, just this much. Come on, be quick, everyone. Once you are done reading, quickly type done in the chat box. Okay. So that we'll quickly finish this. A pioneer leader for women's rights, Suzanne B. Anthony became one of the leading women reformers of the 19th century. Come on, quickly. Have a quick read. Once you're done, type done in the chat box. Different strategies for different type of questions. That is what we try people to do. What we have to do, let us quickly revise. As soon as you see this RC passage, you have to skim the passage, you have to go to the questions, you have to read the questions thoroughly, you have to get that question's keywords in your mind and quickly scan the passage for the answers. That is the best way of solving RC, and that will save a lot of your time. You cannot afford wasting too much time. Suppose the first passage which we have solved in today's session, suppose your passage is too much lengthy, near about 400, 500 words. What will you do? Will you spend your 8 to 10 minutes in just understanding the passage? Not at all. We cannot afford that. Come on. So if you're finished reading this, quickly type done. Okay. What the passage is about? Yes, Aishwarya, Red Crow. What the passage is about? Will you be able to tell me? It's about this social reformer. Yes or no? Yes. What the passage is about? Monali? Women rights. Okay. Is it just talking about women rights? About freedom? Okay. See what all different interpretations you people are having. Women rights, how she fought for women rights in social as well to vote and anti-slavery. Very nice, Red Crow. Women rights, yes. Here's a social reformer, right? She's trying to fight for women's right, all right? The way she is impacting on the society. Okay, chalo, let us try this. What is the main idea of the passage? That is what I just asked you. What is the main idea? Reformers do not always see the results of their efforts. That's the main idea. Suzanne B. Anthony never gave up her fight for all people's freedoms. Slavery was one of the Suzanne B. Anthony's causes. Anthony did not condone the use of alcohol. What do you say? What the main idea of the passage? Come on, the passage is really small. You can really tell me. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. What's the main idea of the passage? What's your answer, guys? Women's right, okay, Monali. What's your answer? So it's about reformers do not always see the results of their efforts. Is that the passage all about? Come on, a quick answer will be appreciated. It's obvious, no? Suzanne B. Anthony never gave up her fight for all people's freedom. What do you say? No, reformers do not always see the results of their efforts. Is that the main idea of the passage? Just that is what they want to prove through this passage? Not at all. B is your answer. Okay, come on, try next one. In which of the following ways did the US Mint honor her life's work? Yes, what do you say? Where we have seen this US Mint? Where we have seen this US Mint? Here in the end. No, here, look at this. On July 2, 1979, the US Mint honored her work by issuing the Suzanne B. Anthony dollar coin. Do we have any such options here? Look at this. Suzanne B. stamp was issued. Suzanne B. Anthony's dollar was created. The Suzanne B. Anthony Memorial Park was built in Russia. Then Suzanne B. Anthony dolls were created. What was done? Suzanne B. Anthony dollar was created, right? B, very obvious, direct answer, we can get it. Look at this. So B is the answer. Now try this. What would historians say was Suzanne Anthony's greatest achievement? She collaborated with abolitionists to rid the country of slavery. Is that so? Abolitionist. Okay. She was an activist and raised a family at the same time. Was that her achievement? Her tireless effort to guarantee women the right to vote led to the establishment of the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. Okay, this is there at the end of the passage. We have read that. She was a leader in the temperance movement. What do you say? What would historians say was Suzanne Anthony's greatest achievement? Yes, if you see this, if you see this, although Anthony did not live to see the fruits of her efforts, the establishment of the 19th century amendment is indebted to her efforts. That is what happened. No, she has fought for everybody's rights. She was a reformer, so she had worked on the guarantee, right? So it was all about guarantee the women rights to vote, and that has all been talked in the above passage. Obviously, C is her. C is the answer here. Very nice. Come on, what is this? What about this question? Mansi, very nice. Omkar, Red Pro, Aishwarya, good going. Good going. Anthony advocated all the following except which one? Slavery should be abolished. That is what Anthony tried to say. That's there. Alcohol should be prohibited because of the abuse it causes. Women are citizens and should have the right to vote. That is what it says. Try to say in the passage. Employers should provide childcare for female employees. That is what she's trying to say. What do you say? Yes. Anthony advocated all of the following except which? Except which is not there in the passage. First one is there. Obviously, A has been mentioned. Yes. Then abuse it causes because of alcohol. That's there. Women are citizens and should have right to vote. That is also has been spoken in the passage about right? Employers should provide childcare. Is that so? This is not at all spoken. So which would be your answer? Except which one? Except this. Fourth sentence, other all sentences are there in the passage. So D would be your answer. See, easier. Now, an effective reformer is who? Who's an effective reformer? A person who has the support of family and friends. Is that a person who could be a reformer, effective reformer rather? An activist who can enlist the help of others to promote a cause. Okay. A person who is knowledgeable about a particular cause. So he would be an effective reformer. A person who ignores what other things. Can it be a reformer? B is obviously not. This is eliminated. A person who is knowledgeable about particular cause can only be an effective reformer, not at all. A person who has the support of family and friends can only be an effective reformer. No. The one who enlists the help of others to promote a cause, that's an effective reformer. What's your answer, everyone? What do you say? Very nice, Aishwarya. It's B. Very good. Very good. Did you understand? So we have many such strategies for different kind of questions. What if you get the question, what you can infer from the passage? What would be the title line for the passage? We have seen just few types. There are many such type of questions you can expect under RC. Okay. If you want to know such strategies really, really want to be a pro in solving this RC passages without spending too much of time, you have to learn different strategies. See, without strategy, we cannot challenge this kind of questions. All right. You have to really practice. Smart practice is required. All right. And when you'll be able to do that, unless and until you know these strategies to be applied, different techniques we teach, how reading should be done, how you can read it in a skimming way, how you can read it in a scanning. So there are different ways of keeping or solving these kind of questions. Okay. To know more about such RC questions or such RC strategies, quickly get enrolled to this course. You will find the link in the description box below. All right. To get that and to get enrolled to the courses, we have different variety of questions. We'll be practicing such questions. You will be receiving a lot of different strategies to be followed to solve these kind of variety of questions we'll solve here. All right. So quickly get registered yourself. All right. You have the link in the, you will find the link in the description box below. All right, go there, quickly register yourself. You will find really interesting content there. All right. I hope you understood this. Omkar, Mansi, Monali, Aishwarya, Sohail was there, but he is no more with us in the session. Abhishek. Okay, everyone. I hope you have learned really useful strategies here. To know more, quickly get yourself registered. All right. If you have any queries regarding registration, you can just get us. You will find us on this contact number. All right. So note it quickly and get you registered yourself. Till then, stay tuned with Shikuya. Let's upskill.